as you all know, I've sort of begun a career as a writer or a poet of some kind, if you call it that. And I think I could go on writing things like short aphorisms or quotes or sayings, romantic kind of sayings, things like, I don't know, love is the lifeblood, or some mornings it's like the sun rises only for her. Things like that. And I think that, there's a lot of poets online that gain a lot of attention doing things like that, saying things like that, and I enjoy writing things like that too, but I'd much rather kind of sit down and say something like, there's a big machine in the sky, a kind of electric lion with wings coming straight at us, or something like that. And that's much more appealing and vivid imagery to me. It tests the bounds of your imagination as imagery, as opposed to things that are easily comprehensible, or romantic sayings and things like that. I'd much rather write imagery. And so I'm going to continue doing that. And I guess I'd like to read you some more things I've written. I wrote a few things today. I got my notepads here. Hang on. Sure, it's a waste of time, but isn't life? You have nothing else to do. There are kings who have died failing to court you. There's a big machine in the sky, a kind of electric lion with wings, coming straight at us. Here's one I wrote for the Greek mythical figure, god, Apollo, who I identify with deeply. O Apollo, with your ancient lyre and golden hair, a river of sound carves through the air. Shed your light upon the town and all the people there, Apollo. O Apollo, 22 years I have sung for you. Deliver me calm breeze of afternoon. In a forest of lies I abide by truth, Apollo. O Apollo, grant me life and grant me reason. Love is but a change in season. I'd like to master the art of treason, Apollo. O Apollo, a glorious light in the depths of night. The children all have taken flight, free from the shackles of malice, of spite, Apollo. O Apollo, you've done for us what Christ could not. There's another one. Mumbling down the streets of New York, I hear jazz, echoing up from manholes in the ground, subway musicians hoofing their daily brass ecstasies, and all is cool, calm, and fine like always. Sunken islands in the sun, no longer enjoyed by anyone. Earth is heated by the fuel. evaporating ship of fools. The gates are open, just step on through. The gates are open, just step on through. We must rewrite the rules, for we cannot play it cool on a ship of fools. Oh, I wrote this today, hang on. On this night, 5 years ago, we were on a boat beside the city. Fireworks glistening and crackling like stars above the marina. Her on my chest on an evening in July. I looked up at the vast summer night sky and I asked her, "What's it all about?" And she said she didn't know. Nor did I, but we didn't care. And how could we on that evening in July? I hear a mortal journey more into each passing moment, waiting patiently for my angel to return from the great wide heavens. Artists are those most apt to seduce us to life. There's a few there, but I think I'm kind of over writing short romantic things like a lot of people do. I think imagery is more important. Almost like a word cinema or something like that. Tomorrow I'm going to release my first short that I filmed. I'm just gonna die. Hang on. We made it. I'll release tomorrow my first short film. For some people probably don't know, I was kind of a student of film for a minute there. Still am, but was studying at UCLA a little bit. Film classes and stuff, and then for a few months, and then I've been shooting on a Super 8 film camera, and really inspired by the films that Jonas Mekas, who just passed away, filmed, and Warhol's films, underground films, and art films, alternative short films. And so I'm going to release my first one tomorrow, and it's kind of a poem in motion that I filmed on my Super 8, and it accompanies a poem called "In the Midst of Life," and that's also what the film's called. So go and I'm going to show you that tomorrow. I'm going to put it up on YouTube and also Instagram TV, if I can figure out how to put it up there. And it accompanies a poem, and it's my first little short film that I made. I had developed a severe interest in cinema over the last few years, and studied acting in Los Angeles and here in New York, stage acting and film and also stage acting, and took some classes on cinema and stuff, and so I'm going to release my first little one tomorrow. And maybe make some more. Also, why did I choose to act? Klurch asked. It's always been an interest of mine, something I never rationalized pursuing myself. but it's a wonderful means of expression. It's allows you to fulfill and deliver yourself from certain neuroses that build up, and you're able to act them out on stage and on film, which I haven't done yet, but I'm stage acting and performing in a Broadway show at the moment, so that was my first major role. And Dimitri as a role became almost part of my daily thought pattern. Was became mine, or has become mine, at least while I'm doing this show. And so I think that's important when pursuing a role like that. But in for cinema in general, it's one of my lifelong desires and ambitions is to make films, to both act in films and direct them or make them, at least shorts, at least like alternative short films or poems in motion, as I call them. But I'm going to show you my first one tomorrow, which is called In the Midst of Life, and I'm really excited to show you that. It accompanies a poem I wrote along with many the other ones, and I'd like to make more films in the future because it's something I study. Most days I study cinema, and would you want to do another Broadway show? Yeah, I'd love to do another show. I'd love to do another musical. I'd also maybe like to do plays. I'm really interested in plays, and I'm reading a lot of them lately. So I'd like to do more of those. But if you haven't checked out more of my writing thus far, I'm going to post a larger variety of things I write on my Prince Neptune account, including maybe small bits of dialogue and screenplays, things like that. But for now, it's just poems and aphorisms and ramblings of mind, I guess. At Prince Neptune Poet is what it is. And keep on the lookout for music, too. I'm just kind of pursuing creative endeavors in all forms, non-exclusive to any specific one. I think it's important to pursue them all if you can. Do I have a Finsta? Yeah, it's at Prince Neptune Poet. Book recommendation currently, I would recommend Big Sur by Jack Kerouac. All right, you guys, I love you. Keep a lookout for my short tomorrow. What are my poems about? Oh, well, you'll have to go and check them out on Prince Neptune Poet. I write about love, freedom, environmentalism, dignified rebellion, escapism, and these themes are all threaded throughout the fabric of every creative endeavor I pursue, whether it be music or poetry or the film I'm going to put up tomorrow. It's a couple minutes long, but it's accompanied by a poem. Atavism is another theme. Thank you, Manisha. I talk about atavism a lot. A return to primordial form is a good one. Joey Woo, yeah. Escapism isn't reality, but I don't talk about reality a whole lot. I talk about idealism. I'm an idealist at heart, and so it's kind of what I talk about a fair bit. I think it's important to be an idealist to a certain degree, and also a realist, enough to keep your head on straight. But getting lost in the subconscious is a fun thing to do. M. Yerba, are you vegan? I'm not 100% vegan. I'm probably vegan about 5 days a week. I still sometimes will eat chicken and fish. Definitely no beef or pork. I try my very best to steer clear of meat options whenever I can, because it's much better for the environment to... I think if everybody was like 90% vegan or vegetarian, we'd have a much better chance at conquering... climate change and a lot of environmental issues that are prevalent today. I don't force the idea upon anyone. I think it's important to give people the space they need to find out for themselves. And to do their own research, and so I'm not 100% vegan. No, I can't say I am, but I also don't like to put labels on things like that. A good way to get your iron is through. I take spirulina and chlorella tablets. They clean your blood, and they're a good source of iron. More iron and protein than in a lot of meat products. I rarely touch dairy. I think it's gross. To drink what cows produce, female cows produce when they're pregnant, is not something I'm interested in doing. I drink almond milk instead. So, I mean, occasionally I think I'll have ice cream or there'll be dairy and things I eat, but like, I don't like cheese or milk or anything like that. I don't eat eggs. But otherwise, if everybody avoided meat products more often, we'd have a much better chance at conquering environmental destruction. Because I think the best thing you can do is vote with your dollar. Thank you if you think I'm the best Dimitri ever. If anyone's in New York, if you're coming to New York, come see the show. My first play, my first musical, we have little under 7 weeks left. We finish on March 31st, so make sure you come see us. It's my first large gig as an actor, and so come see it. Come check us out till March 31st. If you can get to New York before it closes, that'd be sick. The show is called Anastasia. Book your tickets. They're online. Sheila's Finsta said, how does not eating animal products help the environment specifically? It helps I'll tell you all the ways I know for sure that it helps. It helps in the reduction of greenhouse gases, of harmful chemicals released into the air as a result of mass animal agriculture. The amount of wheat and grains used to feed cows and pigs and things like that could be used to feed most of the world in impoverished nations and nations that have a scarce supply of food and resource. Also, the amount of land it takes to farm these animals is a huge stress on land clearance and deforestation. So a lot of land is cleared and a lot of trees are cut down to feed these animals. I mean, even the dairy industry is extremely. It's a lot worse than I think you'd think, because most of the even the egg industry, like most of the male cows, dairy cows, are killed straight away when they're born because they can't produce milk. They're not used efficiently, in a sense where they're sent off to become beef cows. They're just murdered straight away. Things like that. Overfishing, mass fishing, is extremely harmful to animals that were not intended for the fishing itself, such as dolphins, turtles, things like that we don't actually eat, or killed and harmed as bycatch. So things like that. But just generally, it's better. Again, I'm not 100% vegan myself, so I can't so I'm slightly hypocritical, but I try to do my best, and I think if you give yourself space to grow and to slowly become more aware of the issues, you're morally and ethically, you'll start to naturally make better decisions. So I think if we were all like 80% vegetarian, at least that would be a massive benefit to the planet. A lot of the argument is, oh well, we used to eat meat, we did all that stuff. Yeah, well, we didn't used to farm them as in such a mass. Okay, yeah, cool. Sorry, I'm not even paying attention to the comments here. One of the other things I'm involved heavily in is the reduction of plastic use, single-use plastic use in my life, and also in influencing and hopefully motivating and encouraging other young people to do the same. In terms of reducing, single, like bottled plastic, straws, cutlery, water bottles, things like that. I got my, I don't drink straws anyway. I don't understand the point of them, but I have some reusable ones here that I bring around or try to give to friends and things like that. I've got bamboo. Got bamboo cutlery that I use. things like that, reusable water bottles. It's just important. Again, none of us are perfect, and there's things that we can't avoid. But I think in making the first steps towards in voting with our dollars and encouraging large corporations to make the jump, and in realizing that young people don't go for that shit anymore, is important. And we have more power than we think we do in terms of voting with our dollar and voting with and making an impact based on what we buy and the choices we make daily. Again, I'm dropping a film tomorrow. It's a little short poem in motion thing. It's called In the Midst of Life, based on a poem I wrote, and it's a short film I made with my Super 8 camera. Many more things to be announced as we move ahead. And I love you guys, and thanks for tuning in. One last poem before I go, or a couple last poems before I go. The sky will part and the sun door will open once more, and we will pass back from time into the severed realm, perpetual. Two prophets in a bar discuss eternity, all the eternities, myriad eternities, innumerable. If I am not working on song or poem, I am sitting the vast expanse of earth, thinking the thousand thoughts that visit my mind daily and then drift off without a trace of memory left behind. Oh well. Poems here. There's a big machine in the sky, a kind of electric lion with wings coming straight at us.